Paul, I really want to get into the worst pain that you've ever felt today. Right, and I want our viewers as well and our listeners to engage with us a little bit around this today. What is the worst pain you've ever experienced? And describe it, please, in detail.
Well, you know the way they say that women have a higher pain threshold because of labour and childbirth? Well, apparently. I've been through horrendous pain a few times in my life. And one of the worst pains you can ever experience is being burnt. You know, if you burn your finger when you're frying an egg, even get a bit of grease in your, or hot water gets you unexpectedly, or something like that.
Yeah.
I got burnt in an accident back in the year 2001.
Oh, Jesus.
Burning rubbish in the garden, and a container blew up and engulfed me in flames. So I got my face burned, my chest, my arms, my back. Ended up in hospital for 2 weeks, and that was horrendous pain. Initially, when it happened, I was concerned because my son was involved in the same accident, so I was concerned for him.
Yeah.
So I remember getting the two of us into the house. The skin was falling off my arms. A big flap of skin had come down off both arms, so I could see the muscles, and it was burning and bleeding. But in the shower, trying to get cold water on it, and yet the sensation of cold water on open flesh was horrible. But the thing, I need to try to minimise the heat in the body, and then trying to get water on him as well, and being calm with him. But I remember telling him, I may conk out in a minute. If I do, that's fine. It's part of what's happening.
Wow.
We'll be okay. There's an ambulance on the way. Because I did expect to conk out, because I could feel my body. But the pain got to its worst every morning in hospital. They wrapped me up like a kind of a Michelin man with bandages. And I remember waking up the first morning in hospital, and there was this yellow kind of like an aura all around me in the bed. And I said to the nurse, like, what kind of lotions or creams? And she said nothing basic. She said, we just kind of wrapped you to keep the air away from the open wounds. And she said, that's your bodily fluids leaking out. So I had to keep putting loads of fluids in, but they'd wake you up early every morning about 6:30, and they'd come in and they'd peel away the bandages, and they'd peel away the skin that had started to heal.
Oh no.
So you've been peeled. Now, they give you painkillers, but you were still being peeled alive.
Jesus.
And the reason for that was they wanted the wounds to heal from the inside out. They said, like, if we let the skin just heal, and you'll get this orange peel skin with lots of scars on it. So they'd bring you in, they'd shower you to get all the stuff off, and then they would put more creams and lotions, and they'd wrap you up like Michelin Man again. And I remember one morning they did this to me, but for some reason they didn't put, there was a patch around just my back there, and the bandage didn't go back to where it should have been. So the air was getting in at the thing, and I was in horrible pain. And I remember trying to endure it. And I got out of the bed like the fucking Michelin Man and went out to reception, and they were going, what do you not? And I said, I'm in awful pain, I need something. And I said, but we've given you your quota of painkillers, we can't give you any more or else we'll kill you. And they said, you can't be in pain. And I said, there's something wrong, and I'm in pain. They said, you go back in and whatever. And this nurse, whom I duped, I called her a Nazi, because she was a big authoritarian woman, and she needed to be, because she needed to take control of us.
She was probably
people
the sister on the ward or something, was she?
And she came in and basically told me, you're not in pain, you're just imagining. I go, no, I am in pain.
I hate.
And she said, it'll go, and all of this. So anyway, she left the room, and I remember trying to walk around her and to walk off the pain, and then I kind of just collapsed down, and I bit into the mattress of the bed, biting. You know the way, like in old cowboy films, to see somebody with chewing on a stick and they're going to amputate their arm. I bit into the mattress with the pain, and I conked out. And I don't know how long was it later, they come in and found me there, and they kind of go, what is that? And then realised, oh God, the bandages. And I go, I told you.
Freaking told you.
And that was probably the worst pain.
Good God. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah, Jesus, that's really impactful, Paul. Oh my God, like such a horrible thing to fucking experience. So I suppose, like, there are other worst types of pain that I wanted to get into as well today.
She's into pain.
That is a very, well, some people are into pain as well. I mean, that's another podcast. Maybe we'll come back to that one. But like, I was thinking like that maybe our viewers and our listeners might drop in the comments below what is the worst pain they've ever experienced. And I was asking my children about this actually, and my youngest daughter, funny enough, has done a bit of research on this area as well. And she was looking up like what are the worst pains in the world, and as you have already described, number one is being burning, like burnt flesh and whatever, especially like the type of burns that you experienced. Number two is childbirth. And number three is getting flicked in the balls. If you're a man.
Yes, I can attest. I can attest this to that. I remember as a kid fighting with one of my brothers. We're always fighting and getting away from him. And for some reason, there was a bucket of carrots there, or something my mother had, and he picked one of the carrots and he flicked it like that, and it went. And I go, yeah, you didn't hit me, and you go, oh, like it hits about 10 seconds later.
Oh God!
And I was in abject pain.
Jesus.
You know, and it's a little flick thing, and years later when I learned karate, that was the thing we were learned, like teaching self-defense to women.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you're compromised like that and he has you down on your knees, expecting some sexual favour from you, just go flick him like that, and then you can get away.
You have a chance to run.
The hitting hard or anything like that doesn't have the same effect.
Wow, isn't that a sight?
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting actually, that, you know, it doesn't hurt as much if you hit it hard or if you get kicked.
No.
It's not as bad as that flick thing.
Yeah.
But other things that are very painful would be, you know, the likes of standing on a plug with your bare feet. Has that
Lego.
ever happened? Oh, Jesus, Lego as well, yeah.
In the dark, when you get up at night, you try and get to the loo without waking anybody up.
Yes, and the next thing you stand on a fucking plug that's upside down, or a piece of Lego or something like that, something really sharp.
Yeah, they have those as party games. I remember coming across a video on one of these and sending it to my sister because she loves parties and party games, where you get people at parties who've had a couple of scoops, you blindfold them and you get them to walk through this obstacle course of Lego bricks and mouse traps in their bare feet to get to the next thing. So they're allowed to look at it, then put on the blindfold and then have to navigate their way through it.
Oh my God, imagine.
Yeah, the things people do for a drink.
I know, yeah, it's mental. Actually, I have a really funny story about my husband. Actually, when he was a child, he was really mad at his dad over something. So he set a mousetrap in the spuds. Because he knew he'd be going out to bring in the spuds for his mother for the dinner, you know. And he set the mousetrap in the spuds so it'd catch him on the fingers.
And did it get him? Or
it didn't get him, no. He's seen it.
Oh.
He's seen the vegan
and he probably knew who did it.
He was laughing, yeah.
I know who was in pain then.
He was an only child, so there was no one else there to do it.
I stood on a garden rake when I was 7, and I went right up through my foot, my right foot.
Feck.
We had this rake. I remember the rake went missing, right? And my father had offered a reward to anybody who would find a rake.
No way.
And the thing was missing for ages and ages and ages. And there was a guy came in to mow the meadow in the garden. He let this farmer have it. So we were running around after the tractor in our bare feet and the thing. Health and safety wasn't a thing back in the 70s. And I remember there was a rope hanging out of the back of the tractor and we were trying to stand on it or try to catch it. Like yeah. Jeez. So anyway, we were finished that. My mother called us in for dinner. And the rest of the lads grabbed their shoes or the sandals or whatever, and I go, "Oh, where's my sandal?" And so she said, "You better get your sandals." So I went back up, and the only part of the garden that wasn't mowed was in it where the clothesline was. So there was an upright pole, and then this other one up against it, kind of like that. Yeah. And I kind of my sandals, and I went to jump in there, and I just jumped in, and I go, oh, and the rake comes up and smacks me in the back, and I fell. Shit. I couldn't get up, and I know that the rake is in my foot. And then I start shouting. My mother comes up, and you imagine the shock she got. And she had to pull the rake out first, and then there's loads of blood, and she carries me down to the house. Can't bring me into the house because there's blood everywhere, so I'm sat on a stool outside, and somebody gets a basin of water and then salt, and then I remember my brother Tom, at the time he goes, "He's going to die, isn't he?" Oh my God. Which was very useful. Shocking. And so there was a guy going past on a horse, and they got him. He was the postmaster's son. Yeah. They got him to go into town to ring a doctor. Jesus. And the local doctor wasn't there, so they had to ring my father, who had to come home from work, and then drive me into Longford to get another doctor. Jesus. But I remember that night, the pain of that was phenomenal. Because
Jeez,
the
I'd
night
say
got
so.
it kind of
Oh my
worse.
God.
Yeah.
I would not be good with pain at all. Now, when I was about 5, I got a thumbtack stuck in my foot, and you want to see the fuss I kicked up over that. I went bananas, and I remember my mom and my sister and my brother trying to hold me down so that my dad could remove it. Like, I went bananas. I was kicking, and I kicked and screamed that much that I kicked it out of my foot. When they finally got me still, Dad was laughing, and he said, she actually kicked it out.
And I'm sure that helped, the fact that he was laughing.
Honest to God, yeah, it was gas. And like, I often had situations like that growing up because, my mom was a seamstress, like, so there was always pins and needles and stuff lying around the bloody floor, and you'd get one stuck in your foot.
Were you told that? I remember as a kid somebody saying that if you got a pin or a needle that went into your body, that would go to your heart, that your heart acts as a magnet and it would bring it round and go to your heart and punch your heart and kill you. We were told that as a kid.
Jesus, I remember being told that actually as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right of it. I remember my brother getting a fish hook stuck in his finger, and I remember my dad had to push it all the way through to get it out because it was one of those, what do you call them when they have the hooks coming back?
A barb in the end.
Barb, that's right. They were barbed hooks.
Yeah, my brother did that
God.
recently. He sent us a picture of Casualty, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, at the thumb and the hook. So what they do in Casualty is try to cut the top of the hook and then pull it back through.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, I've done that at fishing as well.
And most recently, I stapled my finger. Don't ask me how I did that. And I ran up to my daughter, my youngest daughter, because she asked for one of these arms, that she could practice drawing blood on. She wanted to be a doctor. She went through a whole phase and wanted to be a doctor. So she got this arm to practice on. Anyway, I went to her and I was like, oh, what are we going to do with it? She was 12 at the time or something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, first of all, calm the F down, Mammy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we have to push it all the way through, Mom. And I was like, no, just get it out.
I was putting up Christmas lights, and I've done this every year, where you're putting up the Christmas tree lights along the wall. Instead of LED, you're putting Christmas tree lights, and you get little thumbtacks on it, and you're pushing them in, and the top of the thumbtack comes off, and it goes into your thumb.
No!
And it'll happen maybe 2 or 3 times during that setup of the thing. So now I've kind of just I get the longer little tacks and tap, 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 and they'll probably break with the hammer. But I go, I'm not doing the thumb thing.
Never again. We used to use a spoon to push them in. Clever.
Much
Up
more
here for thinking, down there for dancing.
Yeah. Whatever about dancing or thinking, I don't know. Let us know what your experience is with your worst pain ever. We are the Happy Headers. Like us, subscribe to us, and we'll talk to you soon.